Welcome to Yoruba Kingdom TV, built by passion.
I have something that's bothering me, and that is why I'm here. And it's so disheartening when I see this clip that I want to show you guys. It's so disheartening. And why are we so wicked? Why? Kí ló dé táwọn èèyàn fi burú báyìí? Is it because of just this 6 feet? Ṣé àbí mò ń sùn ni? Àbí mò ń lálàá? Àbí ṣé mo ẹjọ́ tí ń bá sùn ẹ jí mi? Báwo lèèyàn kan máa ṣe kó adúrú owó tẹ̀dẹ̀ máa rí àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Ilé kò yé mi mọ́ o. Ẹ wo fọ́nrán ìjọ.
Now here you dey live, madam. When have you been living here? Since last year. Now here you born this your baby. Where? Okay. This is where you two are staying. This is where you are living.
Your mother is staying here. Your brother. Which one of your mother is here? Which one? He's the agent. Agent. Hey, I'm down.
This is where you are living, madam. This is where you are living. Is this where you are living?
Sorry.
Don't fall down. Don't fall down.
Come outside.
Wà lábẹ́ ọ̀run o. Ṣé bí ni wọ́n náà ń gbé?
Now, the question I want to ask is this. If everybody now keep japa, whatever we call it, asakunlu, but téèyàn bá fẹ́ lọ sẹ́dẹ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ dẹ̀ jẹ́, níbo ló fẹ́ padà sí? And I want to tell you for free. Ibi tá à ń wà tá à ń sọ pé à ń japa yìí, àlejò ni wá ń bẹ̀. If anything should happen, like you see what happened in Ukraine. Ẹjọ́ lè dàbí ilé. Ẹ̀rù ní bàbá ọ̀nà ló jìn. It is the system that makes these people be in this kind of situation. It is the system. And I think it's high time for the people in the government to sit down. Because ẹ máa rí àwọn èèyàn máa jáde lọ lọ́sàn-án gangan báyìí lójúkorojú. Wọ́n máa gbaṣọ lọ́rùn àwọn èèyàn nínú mọ́tò. Ó dẹ̀ ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Bóyá kò tí ì dọ́dọ̀ tí yín tó jẹ́ pé òkèlè ti ń fò. Ẹ má jẹ́ kí n tàn yín. Wọ́n máa padà fò pẹ̀lú yín. Ẹ̀wọ̀n á jọ fò. Wọ́n á fò báyìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń wọnú ilé, wọ́n á fò báyìí nínú ilé. Àmì gan ò ní lè dá wọn dúró. Torí pé a hungry man He's an angry man. Ojú gbà mí tì. Ẹ̀yin ẹ gbọ́ nǹkan tó ṣe ọmọ rẹ̀ sọ.
I also think that religion has been added to our burden of problems. When people preach that if you believe in our Lord Jesus Christ, He will deliver you from poverty, that's a lie. We know it.
God have mercy.
And I see them every day. And I think Father make the point that people are setting up business centers. And they cover themselves by saying they are pastors.
Mashio. You two I am learning to. Look how the new EFCC chairman. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ kan. Ó ní àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wọ̀nyí. Kí ló sún wọn débi tán wà yìí? Bàbá wọn, ìyá wọn, iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ náà mojú ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn ọmọ yẹn ní ìsìn ibi tí wọ́n wá bọ́ sí gbogbo owó tí wọ́n bá kó jọ nílùú òyìnbó tó ń padà sílé wọ́n ti rẹ́dì fún ẹ láti gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Wọn ò ní fìbọn gbà á. This is the 21st centuries. AI, the world of technologies. Ìjà ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni. Ìṣàn méjì ò tí ì kọ́ọ̀tì. Ẹ wò.
I brought in my Lagos office a 17-year-old boy. I was sharing also with them, who is studying history, 200 level. He's not doing anything science. The guy sat in my office in Lagos and demonstrated some things to me on my laptop. He asked for my account, my number. He knows I gave him my number. Through my number, he got my BVN. He said, "Okay, he now mentioned the name of my account number to me at the bank." I didn't tell him anything. Yes. 17-year-old boy, 200 level student, studying history and anthropology. Now, that's not even the issue. The problem is, I see crime in that. I also see opportunities in it. So if you leave these guys, if we don't make them know that this thing they are doing is wrong, if you leave them, they will continue to see that thing as a culture, as a way of life to make money. If I don't investigate them, if I don't prosecute them, now what we do, on our own, we plead for light sentences for them. Because it's also going to be wrong for us to close our eyes. We plead for light sentences. Why? So that we can reorientate them. And that's part of the things we're doing. What joy will I derive in sending a 19-year-old boy to jail? You have destroyed his future, you have destroyed his career. Sometimes, most time they give them options of fine and all of that after conviction. So we bring them back, we lecture them, we talk to them. This particular boy, when he was done, I said, look, Oga, I can make 10 million now. He said, I will demonstrate to you, I will move money from your account to my account now. I said, no, don't that in my office. Don't let them trace that to this place, don't. And he was actually ready to do it. In fact, when he opened the system and he was like, I didn't give him the key to my laptop. And he had access. He forgot that he was even in my office. He forgot I was around him. He was just, he got lost in that art. And I said, okay, now, why do you do this? Why? You know what he told me? He said both parents are farmers. They couldn't go to farm because of insecurity. He has two younger ones, one in GS2 and one in SS2. He's the one feeding his parents. He's the one responsible for the payment of the tuition of his younger ones. So what do we do? In as much as I want to do my job, like I said, I saw a big gate in that guy. I said, okay, from today, if you are able to get out of this, we will do our work. And whatever happens, I will certainly take up the responsibility of your schooling. Told my family, we are going to do that. I spoke to one of my friends who is also ready to help to take up the schooling of the SSS2 guy. So I'm still looking for someone who will take up the one for the GS2. Maybe Sakuna will help me do that. So these are the challenges we are facing. So for people to just sit down out there and begin to condemn EFCC, they don't even have an iota of what we're doing. You don't even understand the enormity of the problems. You don't. Now we are coming up with what we call the Cybercrime Research Center as part of the project in our new academy, where we'll bring some of these boys during the vacation, the way they are capturing them, the way we have 419 training school. we're also going to come up with a hub that will help us to channel those skills. You can imagine somebody who never studied science. Imagine his proficiency in handling systems, hacking websites. Now, assuming that guy is that skills is channeled towards positive things, you can imagine the contribution he will make towards the economic development. So those are things we're doing. Those are the innovations we are bringing into this work. You can be a victim. Your brother is coming from America, wants to start a business, and one 17-year-old boy just sat down somewhere in Mushin or or Pape, and just swipe off the entire capital. The following day, the person will run back to where he's coming from. It doesn't happen anywhere. It doesn't happen anywhere. It comes through hard work, commitment to hard work. If that is the only lesson I'm able to pass across to them by the work of, by virtue of what we're doing, I'm okay. I'm okay. Now, why Nigeria's yearly loss to internet fraud amounted to over $500 million in 1 year? In 1 year to internet fraud. According to, this is not even my report, this is report of Nigeria Communications Company, NCC. I mean Communications Commission, NCC. Now for context, what we call the BEC, the Business Email Compromise scam, as a category of cybercrime, is a prominent nuisance as it accounts for 40% of all cybercrimes losses across the world. And it's one of the top 4 major cybercrime threats. Do you know now all over the world that cybercrime is the 3rd largest GDP across the
have now been pushed to the fringes, talking about and believing and espousing the belief that Nigeria truly should be one.
We need to begin by resolving a conceptual crisis. What do I mean by a conceptual crisis? Quite often when we speak about Nigeria, we collapse the distinction between country, state, and nation. We tend to think that the three mean the same. We tend to think the three are synonyms. A country is a territory. From the Latin contra terra, the land that lies ahead of you. A country is a territory. It is not necessarily a nation. A nation is an association of peoples. And I use that word in the plural deliberately because of diversity. A nation is an association of peoples who identify their shared core values. And on the basis of their shared core values, they give themselves a constitution which will now establish institutions that make up the state. What we have in Nigeria and in most African countries is a confusion where we think the nation is the state. The nation is reduced to the state. We have a country quite all right by the fact that we live within a territory, even if that territory is not secure, as we all know. But we don't have a nation. We have institutions that make up the state. We collapse the nation into the state. If you look at our constitution, section 2 of the current constitution, and you don't find this in the 1963 constitution, it ascribes sovereignty not to the people but to the state. That is dangerous. That means the state has the last say on any question. That means the state is more powerful than the citizen. That is a recipe for impunity. Because as we all know, the state is the head of state, or the governor, or whoever represents them. Whatever they say, we all have to comply, whether they're right or wrong. So we don't have a democracy in the true sense of the word.
Oh my God.
And until we have that, until we build a nation, we can't even talk of unfinished greatness. And I have to make a critique of the title of Governor Fayemi's book. It presupposes that there is a project that is unfinished. I am saying we have not even started the project.
Oh my God.
And we need to stop deluding ourselves. What are our shared core values? What are the things that bring us together apart from the super egos? You know, when I had this experience, 2013, I was visiting a place called Do in Plateau State. The Plateau State governor is here. I got to Do the Friday before the Nations Cup final between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. And there was tension everywhere. But on Sunday night, when Nigeria won the game, the final match, the tension dissipated. And most people forget the fact that a young man from southeastern Nigeria received the ball from a young man from Pangshin who had to leave Nigeria because his parents were killed. Victor Moses passed the ball to Sondemba. Sondemba scored the goal. And we didn't even ask about the local government of origin of the scorer of the goal. So what are our shared core values? If you ask the Americans, they talk of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't have one. And it is when we begin to identify our shared core values that we begin to build a nation. What we have right now is a state held together at gunpoint. And when the state begins to oppress the citizen, there will be cries of marginalization, there will be secessionist and separatist agitation, there will be insecurity. Now we have set up Nigeria to be a place where the state is more powerful than the citizen, and the state is oppressive. We need to retrace our steps. Quite often, Nigerians ask, which is the way forward? And I say, if you are moving in the wrong direction, you shouldn't be going forward. You should make a U-turn.
God help us.
Associations all over the world to at least make sure they get minimum 5 potential investors who will be interested in investing in Nigeria, in Yoruba land, not Nigeria. And we did. So we had a conference in Dubai at the Burj Khalifa. We invited Alaafin. We invited Oni. Oni couldn't come, but Alaafin came. Now we invited the 5 governors, Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Osun. We invited all of them because that's our target. Now, in addition to our own invitation to all these governors, Alaafin also invited them. And we put together all these investors from all over the world. We put them together in Dubai. Worldwide Holdings, it's the president of the Worldwide Holding is Lama Jensen. He was so impressed at our presentation about Yoruba land. So because everything, we identify everything in Yoruba land, mineral resources, agriculture, and all those sort of things. It's just exactly the same thing we try to do now. He was impressed. He alone promised Alaafin that $100 billion on the platform for Yoruba land. Whatever you want in Yoruba land, he was ready to do it. $200 billion. I'm not talking in terms of million. $1 billion. And Alaafin was like, if you can give us an aeroplane to start Ududua airline, we can even start with that. He said, done. That Alaafin should get the necessary documents for it. And Alaafin agreed. We were to construct train around Yoruba state alone. Yoruba states alone. And a big mall in Osogbo as the center of Yorubas. Alaafin himself agreed to all this. We signed everybody. A Russian company also, a Russian organization also said they are ready to invest $50 billion. Many of them. But Alaafin was like, this is an opportunity None of the governors came to that conference. When these people were to sign, it was Alaafin who signed and me that witnessed. None of the governors, none of them came. It was Alaafin was almost crying at that conference. He even called Ajumobi, ọmọ mi, ntí mo rí mi kì í ṣe nǹkan kékeré ìbádàpọ̀ tó bá lè wá fúnra rẹ̀. He called Ajumobi. I was there when he was calling him. And Ajumobi said, Monsura wà ńbẹ̀. At that time when we were talking, Monsura was not there. Monsura was found in the gold soak. Monsura, we understand, was the speaker of the house at that time. Alaafin was almost crying. And Alaafin said they should come to Nigeria. Nothing happened. And since then, we realized that these people are not interested in the development of Yoruba land. They are interested in being governor, take care of themselves, and that's all.